What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian from House of Rasslin, and this is my review for the May 29th pay-per-view AEW Double or Nothing. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow House of Rasslin on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Man, this was a very lengthy pay-per-view. It started at, it's been a long night. It started at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It didn't finish till 11:30, 11:40ish or somewhat. It was a lengthy pay-per-view. A lot went on. A few things that could have been left for a Dynamite. Overall, I enjoyed it, with the exception of one match that they should have changed the title, but they didn't. This was a fun show for the holiday weekend. Good thing that AEW has their pay-per-views around a holiday weekend, because if it wasn't, man, this would be very tedious. Also, it's pretty good that AEW doesn't have monthly pay-per-views, because this fan base would get gassed out and tired immediately. That's one of my critiques of this pay-per-view. I'll go through the matches, not in length, but just my synopsis of them. Big word, synopsis. But yeah, this pay-per-view, if you take off 2, maybe 3 matches, you put it on a Dynamite or a Rampage, it's a little bit more enjoyable. Because, man, this was a long pay-per-view. The beginning part of this pay-per-view was really good, but then it just got to a point where it's just like, all right, I do give them credit. I do give Tony Khan credit in this aspect that they did. It was decently paced. There wasn't one of the things that I feared because of how many matches were on the card was that matches where the crowd was, you're like, man, the crowd should really be into this match, and they're just quiet because they're fatigued. I feel we didn't have that. Maybe we had through a little bit matches, but the way they didn't try to do high spot after high spot during those moments. They really went to a technical based wrestling where, okay, we know the crowd is kind of fatigued. Let's slow it down a little bit, then pick it back up. I do give them credit for that, because that was smart move, a big contrast to what we saw at Revolution, Full Gear, and a little bit at AEW's All Out pay-per-view. But man, there was this first part of this pay-per-view, a lot of stuff you did not expect. People that we did not expect to see showed up on Double or Nothing. The pre-show was pretty good. The Mark Sterling, Tony Nese, Hook, and Danhausen match, that was pretty good. I liked the... it wasn't too hokey and comedic somewhat. It was just like the right time. The crowd is totally behind Hook and Danhausen. This was pretty cool to put Hook on the show with Danhausen. I liked it. It was entertaining. It really got the crowd pumped for the pay-per-view. Once the pay-per-view started, we started off with the Mjf Warlow match, and holy shit, the amount of intrigue into this match, it multiplied in, you could say, 24 hours before this match happened. If you're watching this, you probably know all the things that were being reported about MJF and this match. This was basically a freaking squash match. Wardlow beat the hell out of him. Wardlow got put over, and the cool thing about this match was that at the end of the match, because, man, Wardlow did like 12 power bombs on MJF, which was like, damn. And he just did the symphony, that whole thing. And yeah, so after the match won, Wardlow is all elite. He got the graphic. The crowd was chanting for Wardlow. He's a star. He's up there with Jade Cargill as two people that AEW has some really strong potential star power with their young crop of wrestlers. That's like, hey, these people can be in major movie stars, and that whole um, uh, superstardom and stuff like that, which really good. And AEW does need that, and I know they want to have that. And you got two people that are really solid. I'll get into Jade Cargill later, but man, that opening match with MJF and Wardlow, man, that crowd hated MJF. They showered that dude with so much booze. I like that Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone kept on making references that he was, he was getting heat like Piper in '84. And I remember around that time, I was like 2, 3 years old. Like, I was 4. Was it 4? Yeah, I was 4. Forgive me, guys. It's been a long night. But man, I remember that whole Rowdy Piper heel stuff that he was doing in WWF leading to the first WrestleMania. And man, that guy got heat. Whew, man. But then the post match was really interesting because MJF was carried out on a stretcher, and the freaking crowd chants, "You deserved it!" Like, damn, they hated this guy. I haven't been able to find out what MJF's contract status is yet. I'm really interested in finding out what that is. It's gonna be an interesting month leading into Forbidden Door, man, because this is gonna be wild, and this whole summer, the rest of the year is gonna be wild for AEW. See what happens with MJF. But then the next match was the Hardys versus the Young Bucks. This was a dope match. I'm not surprised they put the second. I like how they name dropped the this is like the Rockers meeting the Rock and Roll Express. Granted, none of these wrestlers are like the Rock and Roll Express in their heyday, or the Rockers for that matter. Maybe the Young Bucks can give them a run for their money, but man, this was a really fun match. There was a lot of delete chants. I enjoyed this match because it was, you could tell it was the Hardys in their final run and the Young Bucks just trying to like deter that. It was cool. We got a poetry in motion like always. We got the double twist of fate. There was the spot where Jeff Hardy had, I think it was Matt Jackson on the stairs, and he did a swanton off the top rope onto Matt Jackson, who was on the stairs. That was pretty cool. Of course, we got the Swanton bomb for the win. This is a pretty cool win. I'm interested to see how this translate into the Hardys in the tag team picture. They're climbing the ranks. They're stacking wins. So probably by Fighter Fest, we should probably get them in the tag team picture as far as the AEW Tag Team Championships. But this was a solid match. I know the crowd loved it. I loved it. It wasn't like, you could tell the Young Bucks, they were their cocky heels, but it was more like, hey, we replaced you. Like, you're not up to our level. And the Hardys were like, nope, we're still the Hardys. But man, I enjoyed that match. That was a fun match. Then we get a video package of the Acclaimed and Gun Club. This was freaking hilarious. The whole dynamic of this duo with Billy Gunn, the reason why I love it, and for me it's so funny, is that the whole time Billy Gunn is like dismissing his own sons and praising the Acclaimed. He's like, "Oh, you guys, look at these guys. These guys are just, what is this? You know what? Let me take care of you guys." And it's like, it's so funny because it's like, and Colton and Austin, like, they're oblivious that their dad is like dismissing them for this tag team, which is so funny, very entertaining. Loved it. Then the next match, we have Anna Jay, Jade Cargill. Kudos to these women, man. This was a solid match. You can tell that they wanted to showcase, and they did. I really like this match. I can tell this set the tone. Actually, all the women's matches on tonight's card was phenomenal. Like, I liked it. It was fun. It was entertaining. Anna Jay and Jade Cargill, to see the growth that they've done in AEW since they debuted is so wonderful to see. And Jade Cargill, she's like really getting into her character. Anna Jay, you can tell that she's starting to come in her own, where, yeah, she does have, ties and allegiance to the Dark Order, but like, she's really stepping into her own, similar to what Chris Statlander did a few years ago when she came back from her injury. I believe that was in 2020. And she just really stepped in her own. You could tell Anna Jay is doing that. And, kudos to her for, her being so, that growth and maturation at a very, young age in the ring, man. That's so dope. But, man, the highlight of this match, one was when Mark Sterling didn't get the job done with the crutch, and John Silver suplexed him and took him out the ring. Then you get the baddies interfering, and then out of nowhere, I can't remember what they called me because I was just caught up in the moment and everything, Malcolm Bivens comes to help Jade Cargill. Holy crap, no one saw that. This was not on the same level, but it just had that same feel like when William Regal showed up at Revolution. Malcolm Bivens with Jade Cargill. Of course, a lot of people were talking about this when he unfortunately was released by WWE. Everyone was like, dude, AEW needs to sign him, put him with Jade Cargill. They fit with the baddies. That's it. And he helped, man. He helped. Jade Cargill wound up winning. Then, of course, after the match, they're beating down everyone. Chris Statlander comes out, and then we get formerly known as Ember Moon in NXT, Athena. Yes, Athena is in All Elite. You had Anna Jay, Chris Statlander, and Athena facing off with Jade Cargill and the baddies. That was a dope moment. For me, I liked it because adding Malcolm Bivens to the baddies and then debuting Athena, now there's a little bit more depth to the women's division, where now it's like, okay, now you should be able to have more matches on Dynamite and Rampage, because now you can tell some stories and stuff like that. But man, I enjoyed that. I marked out seeing Malcolm. It was like, yo, Malcolm Bivens is here. And then seeing Athena and that whole thing. I'm really interested to see how this plays out with Athena. And I'm really looking forward to the promos that Malcolm Bivens is going to cut in AEW, because, man, I really enjoyed his promos in NXT with Diamond Mind, and to see what he's going to do with Jade Cargill, someone who already has the promo skills, complement, just that back and forth, playing off each other. And then, oh man, that's going to be so fun, so entertaining, so fun. I'm looking forward to it. Whew, man, that's going to be good. Then we go to, man, one of the matches of the night. There was a total, I believe, 12, 13 matches. But, man, this was the match of the night. I tried to take notes on just the move. I could not take notes on this match. The House of Black versus Death Triangle. Man, this was a phenomenal match. I know a lot of people like, oh, they don't listen to the tag rules and everything. This was a very lucha libre style match, something that you'd see in AAA and stuff like that. I enjoy the lucha libre style. I big fan of it. Always been a fan of it. But man, kudos to these guys, man. All 6 of these guys, you could tell they have been waiting to have this match. They're just like the face-off between Pac and Buddy Murphy, or Buddy Matthews. It's like, ooh, I can't wait for that match to happen, like one-on-one. Then the face-off between Malachi Black and Ray Phoenix. It's like, oh man, please give us that. Ooh, give us that match. Oh man, it's just so like, oh, the moves that these guys were doing and the fluidity that they were performing it. Buddy Matthews, Ray Phoenix, Penta, Pac, Brody King, like just the whole thing, man. Just the stuff that they were doing. There was a scary spot where Brody King attempted to do like a moonsault on like the back of his like shoulder and like hit the side of the ring. It was like, ooh, and it was like, man, okay, he's already popped back up. It's like, well, that's adrenaline, all right. But man, this was one match. I will tell you guys, watch that match, and when you watch it, you're gonna want to watch it again and again and again because man, those guys really showed out. They wanted to have that match, and you could tell just what they were doing in the ring, and you could say the risk that they were taking. But man, it was so fun to watch this match. Then we had both the Owen Hart finals. We had the Adam Cole Samoa Joe match, and then we had the Britt Baker Ruby Soho match. Both these matches were really good. Adam Cole, Samoa Joe, you could tell by this time after the Death Triangle match that the crowd was kind of like, all right, this is after the Death Triangle and that whole thing. And ooh, forgive me guys, I forgot. The big thing about the Death Triangle House of Black match was the finish. You had Julia Hart. Yes, Julia Hart. The lights go out, and Julia Hart shows up, sprays the mist in Pac's face. Malachi Black makes the pin. Julia Hart, yes, finally, Julia Hart is a part of the House of Black. About time. That's another element that's going to be interesting because now they have someone that they can play off of. And man, she looked really cool with the eye like Malachi Black and just dressed in black. And she just like, ooh, man, that's so cool. So cool. I like that. But yeah, the Adam Cole Samoa Joe match. You did have interference from Bobby Fish. He wound up hitting the boom. There was a scary spot where Samoa Joe was on the outside, and Adam Cole, you could tell he wanted to push him to the ring post, but somehow Samoa Joe's shoulder went into the side of the ring, and he was favoring it throughout the match. Hopefully he's okay. But in the end, Adam Cole wins the match. Britt Baker Ruby Soho was a very good match. She did get a live musical entrance from Rancid, which was, man, that was really cool. I like that. That was fun. But man, this was a really good match. Like I said, man, these women really stepped up their game in this pay-per-view. This wasn't a match that you've seen on Dynamite. It's like, oh, well, you know what? No, they wanted to showcase their skill set, and they did. Trying to think of how to describe it. This match was actually the start of a lot of callbacks to the Sharpshooter because, of course, the Owen Hart tournament, and they were celebrating Owen Hart. There was a lot of callbacks to the Sharpshooter. But in the end, Britt Baker wins. Afterwards, I really like this moment where Tony Schiavone. It was funny because Tony Schiavone hugs Britt Baker, and then Adam Cole looks at him. He tries to hug him, and he just looks at him like whatever, and he kisses Britt Baker. It was freaking hilarious. That whole story is hilarious. But the cool moment was Martha Hart coming out and presenting both Britt Baker and Adam Cole their respective championship belts for the tournament and the Owen Hart Cup. It was cool to see the fans really give her, if you want to call it, her flowers. Of course, with everything surrounding Owen Hart's death in the WWE and just that whole thing, it was cool for me to see her, just be welcome and just the fans show her love and appreciation and just like, man, we miss Owen too, and man, let's keep his honor alive because man, we loved his work and thank you for having this tournament and everything. That was a really cool moment. The belts look good. I liked it. I did figure before this paper, I figured that Britt Baker and Adam Cole were gonna do something similar to when Owen Hart won the Slammies, and I was like, it's gonna be something similar like that, where they're we both won. We're the power couple. We won the Owen Hart tournament for the men's and women's side. That whole thing, and I was like, that's where they're gonna go. Then we got to a match, 2 matches that should have been on Dynamite. This mixed tag trios match, it should have been on Dynamite. Paige Vanzant, she looked pretty good for her first match. I'll give her credit, man. She looked pretty good. What I liked about how they used Paige Vanzant was that they didn't leave her out there too long, and they didn't let her, just go all like, hey, just go. Like they really kept it precise and everything. There was a spot where Sammy Guevara like accidentally like super kicked the shit out of Tay Conti. Like that was nasty. And then there was a part where, it was weird because Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti, like they're just making out during portions of the match, and Frankie Kazarian's like, "Hey, what the hell's this?" And there was a spot where they were on the outside, and he's like, "You know what? F you, I'm out of here." He didn't leave. He wound up doing an over the top DDT on Scorpio Sky, but eventually Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, they wound up getting the victory. This match, like I said, man, this match should have been on Dynamite. Like, this was a match that a lot of people weren't into. The only time they got into the match was in Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti were getting their ass kicked. That was it. Outside of that, crowd was just like, they weren't feeling. They're just like, this could have been, you could have saved this for like another, like, you could have put this on Dynamite next week and everything. That's basically it. Like, me personally, I didn't care much for this match. It's just like the TNT title is right now is very stagnant, and like I said, I believe on my last review for AEW Dynamite, maybe Rampage too. No, I think it was Dynamite. I hope Miro returns this Wednesday and beats the shit out of Scorpio Sky. He was later on. He challenged. I'll say it now. I know I'm not gonna go in the order. This was a long fucking pay-per-view. He did, call out, hey, anybody that wants to challenge him, and Dante Martin challenged him. So apparently we're getting Dante Martin, Scorpio Sky this Wednesday from the Forum in Los Angeles for the TNT title. But I want my man Miro to come back and beat the shit out of people and get that title. Like, dude's the man. Like, give Miro that fucking title. Like, we want Miro to be the TNT title and just go on a freaking run. Then the next match was Kyle O'Reilly, Darby Allin. Again, this was another match that could have been on Dynamite. There was a scary spot where Darby Allin did his dive, hit the middle rope, and it looked like he went headfirst into the ground. He got back up, which is crazy, but man, that was scary. That did not look good. There was another point where he dove on the other side, and Kyle O'Reilly caught him at like real crazy, caught him and put him in the chokehold, brought him in. Yeah, this match, Kyle O'Reilly wound up winning. But yeah, this match, it should have been on Dynamite. Like, this wasn't, like, they could have had this on Rampage last Friday. Like, this did not have to be on the pay-per-view. This was another match. People were, yeah, we like Darby, but like, we want these other matches. Like, this shouldn't be here. We're not feeling it. So it just did not fit. Like, it should not have been on the card, because honestly, the last two matches, the mixed trios match and the Kyle O'Reilly match, really, if you take those matches off, you actually give a few other matches some breathing room. Then the next match was Serena Deeb, Thunder Rosa. This was a very technical match. Like, this was a very skilled match. The previous matches, of course, Britt Baker and Ruby Soho, they had their spots and everything. Jade Cargill and Anna Jay, they did their thing. But this was a very technical match. Kudos to Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb. Those women had a wrestling match. That the Three Amigos, oh my God, I forgot the freaking. Oh my God. It's a stretch that Eddie Guerrero used to. There was a lot of moves that they were paying tribute to Eddie Guerrero in this pay-per-view. But man, this was a technical match, man. If you want to see a match, specifically a women's match, that is technical wrestling, this is it. Like, this was a really good match. Thunder Rosa wound up getting the win. What I also liked about this match, there was a lot of "this is wrestling" chants, which I'm like, yes, about time. Give these women these flowers and stuff like that, man. They're putting in a lot of work, and this is, there's a lot of potential in this AEW women's division, but now it's the time to, hey, spread their wings and let them spread their wings and fly. Like, it's about time. Put them on more. Put them in the first match. Put them in the second match of Dynamite. Like, let them go. But man, this was a really good match. I like this match. I would say this is second behind the House of Black Death Triangle match, as far as just like, man, this is fun to watch. Like, everything else you watch and man, you're enjoying it, but like, this is like, I want to see this again. Like, this is a match. Then we get to the Anarchy in the Arena. Holy shit. Justin Roberts, he said it best. Shit's about to hit the fan. Shit hit the fan, but not in a bad way. Like, this was a match. Myself and many other people on social media noticed it, that by the time this match started, with the trios match, the Kyle O'Reilly match, and unfortunately the Thunder Rosa match, which this is why the mixed trios match and the Kyle O'Reilly match and Darby Allin match shouldn't have happened, because it really took a lot of energy from the crowd energy at the beginning part of the Thunder Rosa Serena Deeb match. This Anarchy in the Arena match freaking woke this crowd up. Like, it just gave this crowd a bolt of energy for the rest of the show. Like, this just went in. Holy shit. Like, it reminded me of, oh my God, what was it? SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, where you could go in various places and you just have all these weapons, and you know how the screen just pans out? Or you remember how it panned out and it just, that's how it reminded me. Like, this was crazy. What was also funny was, like, the first, we could say, 7-10 minutes of the match, like, they're fighting all over and they're still playing Wild Thing. It's all over and the crowd is into it. They're singing it. And the announcers, all the announcers, like, we don't know what the hell just happened, but this is Melee. This is crazy. I don't know what's going on here. This is wild. This is one match that I would, if one of your friends asked you, hey, like, what's a good AEW match for me to watch? I would point to this match, not because it's a wrestling match. This was a crazy match that, man, they were fighting in a freight elevator. The spot with the Santana and Ortiz with the ladder and jumping on the tables in the one area of the ring. They broke down the ropes and started using the extension of the turnbuckle and hitting each other, choking people out. I'm trying to figure out what else to describe, man, because this was just a wild match. For me, I know a lot of people are like, oh god, this is so stupid. I don't like this. Like, oh my god, this is wild. This is this. Look, I grew up with Bruiser Brody and Abdullah the Butcher matches in Puerto Rico that they were fighting in the crowd and like a section was like moving because they're like, these dudes are nuts and crazy. That's what this reminded me of freaking Bruiser Brody and Abdullah the Butcher. This was a wild ass match, and man, this was fun. I enjoyed it. It brought life to the crowd. They were energized. They were forward. They were just like, it was like subconsciously Tony Khan booked this match where it was like somebody threw cold water in the crowd's face and they just woke up and like, holy crap, this is amazing. But in the end, Chris Jericho, and with the help of Jake Hager, they defeated Daniel Bryan. And the reason why that happened was before this all transpired, Eddie Kingston, he came out with gasoline. He wanted to set Chris Jericho on fire. And Brian Aaron's like, no, what are you doing? And they got into a fisticuff, and that's what led to Jericho and Hager hitting Eddie Kingston out the ring and them putting Daniel Bryan in a submission hold with the rope around his neck and him choke. Like, it was crazy, man. But this was a fun match, man. This is going to be one of those matches that are very memorable, and I'm very interested to see how Eddie Kingston versus Bryan Danielson is going to play out, because if it wasn't for Eddie Kingston getting gasoline and Bryan and him fighting, they would have won this match. But overall, man, this was a fun match. This was a classic tribute match to was it FMW, the Japan Deathmatch organization. This was a tribute to ECW, man. This was a tribute to like Abdullah the Butcher and Bruiser Brody, Cactus Jack and Terry Funk. Like, this was a tribute to all those guys, because this match was freaking bonkers, man. After that, we get a video package of Andrade. Holy shit. I didn't see that coming. So Andrade, he make it known, like, I don't like this AFO. Like, all these guys are loser. I don't want this. And his Jose, his assistant, like, you have the paperwork. And then there's a knock on the door. He opens it, and finally, we get Rush. Yes, Rush. Toro El Blanco or something like that? I believe that's what his name. But yes, we were getting Rush from Ring of Honor, who was the Ring of Honor World Champion. Yes, Rush and Andrade, Los Indonobles, are starting to form. This is going to be so good. About time. They joined forces. A lot of fans been waiting for it. I've been waiting for it. Hopefully they get Dragon Lee. And it looks like those trios titles may be around the corner soon. Maybe at Fyter Fest, they might introduce them and we get a tournament leading into All Out. Maybe that's how it looks, but I'm all for it. Rush, Andrade, about time. And it's funny because a couple days ago I was thinking, I was like, man, Andrade should like get rid of all these and bring in Rush. Like, man, we need to bring that back together. So I'm stoked for it. That was so fun. Did not see that coming. Then we get a backstage segment again with, like I said, Paige and Scorpio Sky and Dan Lambert. So we're getting it. Scorpio Sky and Dante Martin for the TNT title this Wednesday. Then we get the trios, the triple threat tag match, Hobbs and Starks versus Swerve Lee, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. This was a dope match. What I did not like about this match is the momentum. Now, mind you, because of the ending of this match, for me, it doesn't kill their momentum. It just heightens, people like, hey, they need to change the title. Yes, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, they won the titles. Honestly, a lot of people were like, why did they retain the titles? Like, their run as tag team champions, it was okay, but I mean, you want to put those titles on like Starks, Hobbs, Swerve, and Keith Lee. They have it. Like, you put the titles on them. Jurassic Express, like, you can already sense, like, okay, it's time for them. It's time to move on from Jurassic Express. Like, they've been a pairing since the beginning of AEW. And I believe that's something that's really taking shape and hold in AEW, that a lot of stuff that started off in AEW, now, since it's year 3, it's like, okay, it's time to switch it up. Like, time is expired. Yeah, it's cool, we love you, but now it's time to change it up. Like, now it's time to evolve to something else. And I think, I know for myself and many other people have tweeted this and just expressed this, like, it's time for Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy to go their separate ways. It's time for Jungle Boy to be on his own. A lot of people were anticipating Christian turning on Jungle Boy, and it's just time to move on and get the straps on Hobbs and Starks and Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, because they're like, we're into those guys. We're not into Jurassic Express and Luchasaurus. And apparently, for whatever reason, they retain. There's going to be an 8-man tag next week, this week on Dynamite, with Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, the Hardy Boys versus the Undisputed Elite. I don't know. Like, that was a bad call. They missed an opportunity to put the titles on Swerve Strickland, Keith Lee, or Hobbs and Starks. It was their time. Like, it was their time to put the titles on them. You can only prolong something so long before, like, it's just inevitable. And it's going to be inevitable for them to for Jurassic Express to break up and go their separate ways. Granted, Jungle Boy and, is interesting. Yeah, that's cool. Have them do it as a single star, not as a tag team, because it's time to move on. And you got FTR with their championships. You just got so many tag teams that, hey, it's time to move on to these other tag teams. And honestly, just like the TNT title, these tag team titles, them being champions, it's stagnant. Like, it's just like, okay, they're champs, but it's like, I'm not really invested in this tag team because we've seen them so many times and they weren't tag team champions, but now they are. It's just like, all right, yeah, okay, it's cool, but like, give it to somebody else that we're interested in. Then the main event, CM Punk, Hangman Page, solid match. I like the fact that this guy won. Yes, CM Punk is the new AEW World Champion. I liked how they were selling both knees. They were giving out the reversal at the end of CM Punk reversing a DDT, a clothesline, and then hitting the GTS. That was crazy. There was a spot where Hangman Page I think he was performing a power bomb, and like he pulled down Punk's tights down, and like his bare ass was showing slightly. that was funny. But yeah, this was a fight. At some points during the match. But man, you get the selling of the injuries on both sides was really telling. Um, Hangman Page getting the title, thinking like, you know what, I should knock this guy out, and then for that split second, he drops it, and then CM Punk defeats him. Of course, I think it was the first time that they had like a ref bump situation because they rarely have it in AEW. In this match, they had it was like, wait a minute, ref bump. Like, wait a minute, we have this in WWE. It's like, all right. But yeah, CM Punk is the new AEW World Champion. I will say this: it was about time. Granted, Hangman Page, they had it in mind for Hangman Page to be the World Champion, but of course, with there were situations that prevented him from winning the world title at All Out, so they had to postpone it. Granted, he's had some solid matches, but pro wrestling, and this goes along with the tag team titles and the TNT title. Yeah, you want to give the titles to certain guys, but with pro wrestling, your champion's got to have a momentum that's either you hate these guys or man, I love these guys. Oh man, they're gonna fight. Oh man, I'm just invested in everything they do. And for me, Hangman Page, the last ever since Revolution, like it's just like, all right, man, we need to get the title. Like you got to switch it up. You got to switch it up. And I think it's also time for him to evolve past the Dark Order and they're my friends. Maybe it's time for him to rejoin Bullet Club. Just saying, we got Forbidden Door. Maybe it's time. There is this crazy alliance between Undisputed Era and the Bullet Club, so we'll see how that plays out at Forbidden Door. But yeah, I honestly, like I said, it was time to make the switch. Hangman Page, like he needs that, just not a new direction, but just something new. That it's like, okay, he's not the heavyweight champion, but now we just need more of an aggressive side. And I think with him winning the title at Full Gear, it was like, okay, it's long overdue. That's cool, but it was just, it didn't correlate. Like it just didn't fit with the other momentum that was happening with the arrival of Punk, Danielson, Cole, that whole thing, Kenny Omega being out. Like it just, the momentum, like it just really, like in pro wrestling, like whether it's the world title, like there has to be a collective momentum where everything just fits. This title change fits with this story. Like it may not be in the same story, but you get what I'm saying. Like there's a correlation where it fits, and it just something just didn't like fit with Hangman Page's reign. Not to say he's gonna get another reign, but it's just now is the time. Like, look, you got Punk. Let's go there. You got some guys that he can work with in the world title. Like, let's go. He's done the whole thing. I worked with, the young guys and everything. Now it's like, okay, now you get some heavyweight hitters to go after the title. So really interested to see what happens with CM Punk. Like I said, this is the dawning of the summer of Punk. So yes, we're going to get CM Punk as the world champion for the summer. And it's going to be dope because is he going to lose the title at All Out? Or is CM Punk going to turn heel at All Out? That is the interesting question. So we'll see. But overall, like I said in the beginning, this pay-per-view, if you take away the mixed trios match, the Kyle O'Reilly match, you pretty much have a decent show, even though it's still long, but it doesn't feel as long as it felt. Those two matches could have been on Dynamite, but this pay-per-view was really, really good. I do think that they should have made the switch with the AEW tag team titles with Luchasaurus and Jurassic Park, dropping it to either Hobbs and Starks or Swerve and Keith Lee. It was time. I believe that's the third thing that they misstep on. I'd say miscalculated. Like the two matches and not switching the tag team titles. Like, that's three things that I just think, like, if they would have addressed that and just went in the opposite direction and just like, okay, we put the matches on Dynamite, let's make the change. This would have been a perfect show, especially with the debut of Malcolm Bivens, Rush, Athena. Trying to think of who else. The turn of Julia Hart joining the House of Black. Like, take away those three things, this was a complete AEW pay-per-view, but it didn't, so it is what it is. And like I tweeted this, with AEW, WWE, Impact, New Japan, NWA, MLW, all the promotions, like, there's no perfect promotion. Like, there's no perfect card that, oh, this was great, this was great. I know a lot of people, WrestleMania 17 and stuff like that. Again, there was stuff on that show that really didn't fit. There's just not a perfect wrestling show. No, there is not a perfect wrestling show. But I enjoyed myself, and I'm really interested, again, to see where this CM Punk thing goes. The Athena, Malcolm Bivens, Jade Cargill thing. The Rush and Andrade, I'm interested in that. Man, it's just a lot of things that happen on this show that it's like, okay, this is going to be an interesting month and summer going into All Out. But yeah, man, I'm interested, man. I'm interested. I was disappointed with the AEW tag team titles not switching, but hey, it's wrestling. I had fun. On Memorial Day. So with that is my review for AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view on March 29th. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Man. And with that, stop fighting over wrestling. It's Memorial Day. Enjoy it. And I'm out.